We are here at this spot today because 3 months ago we saw a news story about one of the officers in the Addison Police Department who was going above and beyond to distribute books from his cruiser. We were inspired by his efforts and reached out to see if we could supply some additional books and possibly a little free library. Chief McWhorter was all about it. He was very eager to do that, and he was grateful, and so were we, because we know that books are a natural conduit to others. They help us celebrate our individuality, they remind us of our common humanity, and they teach us empathy by showing us different points of view. But this story, like all good tales, started long before we watched that news story about the officer in Addyston. In fact, like most memorable books, we have met some wonderful characters during this journey. They have been heroic and humble and wise and fun and committed and generous. Many of these special people who we have had the privilege to get to know are assembled here today. All of you remind us that books are not only something to be read and enjoyed, they are the perfect connection to one another. I'd like to just share a few highlights of this special story and how we arrived here today. In 2009 in Hudson, Wisconsin, Todd Bowl created the very first Little Free Library as a tribute to his late mother, a librarian and a book lover. This idea caught on, and soon Little Free Libraries began to excuse me. Did you do that? Thanks, Gary. All right, well, the cable broke. So,
I'm sorry about my luck.
well, I'll hit some of the highlights here, and hopefully you can all hear me. So this idea caught on, and about 4 years ago, I was invited to a meeting by Angela Ginty, who is now one of our board members, and I had the chance to meet Todd. And at that time, he encouraged us to grow this initiative. From that point on, we presented some ideas to our board, and they enthusiastically supported this idea. And some of our board members are here today, including Bill Gurr and Carrie Little, and Jason Shorten, who is not here today, installed many of the early Little Free Libraries. But we also have Scott Brown with us today, who installed this Little Free Library and many others. And Scott's right over there. And honestly, if it wasn't for Scott, we would not be where we are today. So thank you. Todd actually, who was the founder of Little Free Libraries, personally drove those first 50 libraries to Cincinnati. And our very first Little Free Library was installed at Jason Shorten's home over in the West End. And Gapper joined us, Mr. Redlegs' friend Gapper joined us on that special day. So then when Liz Asman, she took over our Little Free Library program and has really helped it blossom. So thanks to Liz, and especially for hooking us up with your dad. But between number 1 and number 100, we have had the absolute joy of getting to know just how amazing our neighbors are. We have met children who hosted book drives. Oh, there's Nick. Hey, Nick. We have met children who hosted book drives. We have worked with employees of large corporations who sorted books. We've got to see the excitement on kids' faces when they got to meet Gary at the opening of our Little Free Library at the Rec Center, and when they met Mr. Redlegs at the opening of that first Little Free Library. We have benefited from the logistical expertise of UPS when they helped unload our 100 Little Free Libraries on our second shipment. And we've worked alongside teenagers from local high schools who have eagerly supported our efforts. We have also had the pleasure to meet people like Nick the Barber Baines, who's right here today, who distributes books from his barber shop in the West End. And he encourages his young clients to read, read, read. Speaking of reading, we also got to meet Ellen Reed. She is our 2021 Hope Award winner, and she is passionate about literacy and happens to be located right next to Reese Price School in Price Hill, and make sure those kids are hooked up with books. We've also had the joy of meeting Mary Kay Conley, who I just saw somewhere now. Oh, there she is, right there. The city of Covington is making literacy a priority, and they're very lucky to have Mary Kay Conley at the helm of this initiative. She has been a tremendous advocate, especially during COVID, getting out books and expanding the footprint of Little Free Library. So each Little Free Library has a story, and it's not just the stories that exist within the pages of the books. They are stories of all of you who saw that we could do something bigger, better, and more impactful by working together. So a few weeks ago, actually exactly 1,000 days from the day that Todd Bull personally delivered those libraries, we found out that we were honored to receive the Todd Bull Outstanding Achievement Award. And Todd was an early advisor and an advocate for our program until he unexpectedly passed away a few weeks after he delivered our libraries. So this award is especially meaningful because it is in his honor, but also because it belongs to all of you. And I just saw J. Rod Lindsay, who's here too. He's one of our newest Little Free Library stewards. He learned about our program through another Little Free Library steward, and he jumped on the bandwagon, and he got a Little Free Library in Roseline. So thank you. So it just shows that if we all do a little bit, it goes a long way, and we can all play our part. I'd like to, so on that 1,000 days when we found out that news, that's when we had also installed 100 Little Free Libraries. So we have basically installed one Little Free Library every 10 days. And we've supplied over 85,000 books, and that does not include any of the books that the stewards and their neighbors are including on their own. So, a few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of attending the unveiling ceremony at Gulf Manor's own network of Little Free Libraries at the home of Gulf Manor Mayor Densmore. And I had the joy of meeting Elaine Moskovitz and Roger Van Harn, who's here today too. And these citizens took on a labor of love to make sure that their neighborhood had Little Free Libraries for book access, but also as a means of building community. And Roger shared a beautiful analogy that I'd like to leave you with today. It really resonated with me, and I'm going to steal some of his words. Roger said, "These Little Free Libraries are full of seeds of hope, a seed for what will happen, even if we never know it. We hope that there is a child or even an adult that will meet someone in one of the books, one that inspires them to see the world differently, a character that helps them see who they want to be or become, to make themselves, their lives, their world a better place. Someday, I hope we will all hear a story of a person or a world that was changed because of a seed that looks a lot like a book that came from one of these Little Free Libraries." I would like to thank all of you for being seeds of hope in this flourishing book garden we are planting throughout our community. Thank you so much, and at this point I'd like to invite the Mayor and Chief McWhorter to officially unveil Little Free Library number 100.
You ready?
There he is. Woo! And if anyone would like to get their picture with Mr. Redlegs or Gary, they're here for photos, and then we have refreshments here as well. Thank you all for being here.